everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Invisible Woman. Tonight, our show is about love. You know, love is an action word. When you love someone, you love something. When you love, you show. So it's an action word. My question is not about loving someone else, but my question is, do you love yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you like what you see? Do you love what you see? Do you love who you see? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Do you love me? We're asking ourselves that question. When you look in the mirror and you see yourself, do you love me? Stay tuned. Have a great show planned for you tonight. So sit back, relax, grab some girlfriends, and get ready for another episode of The Invisible Woman.
Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Invisible Woman Talk Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Invisible Woman. I have my special guest here, Miss Phyllis Lewis.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. We are talking about the topic, do you love me? And that is pretty much a question that we are posing to ourselves. The question is, when you look in the mirror and yourself is looking back at you, it's asking yourself, that reflection is asking, do you love me? And we're going to talk about some ways to help you to love yourself if you are struggling in that area. And if you do already love yourself, kudos to you, honestly, because it's hard to get here. It's hard to get to a place where you actually love and accept yourself. So if you have already made it to that milestone, I congratulate you, because like I said, that is a milestone in itself, getting there. So stay tuned. We will be right back after this commercial break with more of The Invisible Woman.
The Invisible Woman, empowering women every day in every way.
Welcome back to The Invisible Woman. Again, the topic is, do you love yourself? And I know that it is a very touchy subject because we don't always love ourselves. Sometimes you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see looking back at you. You don't like your reflection. And it's just hard to get to a point where you truly accept who you are. And sometimes, like, when you don't accept, well, let's just say when you accept the things that you cannot change, as they say, and when you change the things that you can, when you get to that point, I just kind of feel like I remember being at a point when I was, being honest with you, it wasn't even that long ago when I wasn't happy with myself. I looked in the mirror and I didn't like the person that was looking back at me. And I would, kind of look at her and she'd look back at me, of course, and I'd be like, who are you? I don't even recognize you. I got to the point where it was just kind of like I got into a depression, because I did not like the image that I saw in the mirror. And it took me a while to get out of that, to get to a place where I started to accept who I was, and I started to love who I was. And I realized that, you know what, I'm young and I'm not even living because I'm missing out on my life because I don't like the person who I am, or even to the point where it's like other people's opinion of me was more important than my own opinion of me. And I let people label me and decide who I was versus me deciding who I am. So I got that label of, oh, you're this person or you're that. And it wasn't pleasant, and people always tell me you're pretty for a big girl. You know, you dress good for a plus size girl. It was never, I never liked the but. Why can't it just be you look good? Why can't it be you dress good? Why can't it be I love your personality. I love who you are versus I love this but, or you look this but. You get what I'm saying? It's always I hate the but. Just kick the butt out. Like, seriously, just take it out and just tell me I look good, because you don't know what I'm going through at that time. You don't know how my day was. You don't know how hard it was for me to get up that morning and look at myself and not like me. And then for somebody to tell me that you look good, but, and so that's hard, but here I am loving me. I love me some Joyce. I always say you can't have joy without, can't have Joyce without joy, Joy. So here I am, and I finally made it to that place, and I want to make sure that I pull other women to this place with me, because it's a happy place over here when you finally love who you are. I've got my coworker. I feel like I'm wrong in the conversation. So, was there a time when you felt like you didn't like who you were?
I think for me, growing up, my childhood, I didn't love who I was. And like you said, it was probably for me, being a big girl, just growing up. And like I woke up one morning and I had all of this and just everything. And I look at my peers and, people around me, and I'm like, why do I have all of this and they don't have all of that, or being teased and, called certain things and stuff like that. So for me, it would be waking up, looking in the mirror, and I just hated the person that I saw. So it took a while for me to find out who I was and to realize that I'm worthy of loving myself.
Oh my gosh. I love what you said about being worthy, because sometimes oh my gosh, I would say 99% of the time, that's how, I felt. I didn't feel worthy of love. I didn't feel worthy. And not just of other people's love, but of my love, of loving me. I didn't feel like I was deserving to love myself, because I had gotten myself into a predicament where it was like, man, how did you get to this size? How did you get here? How did you, so yeah, being worthy of that love. So that's good. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's really, it's a journey to get there.
Yeah, and it still was hard, because even when I started to love myself, people viewed me different. They looked at it that, oh, she thinks she all of that, and she thinks she more than us, and just different things like that. But people don't know the story behind the glory that I had. And like I say, if they really knew what it took to get to that point of loving myself, then they'd be like, oh, she's worthy to love herself, or she's, she earned that, So it was a hard thing to love myself. And sometimes I still see imperfections about me that I'm working towards to improve a little bit at a time.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back with more Invisible Woman. Stay tuned. We are back with more Invisible Woman. And during the commercial break, I was talking with my guest here. And, I still like the point of her saying, being worthy of love. Yes. and accepting yourself. And so how did you get to the point where you were able to love you?
I think just taking the time out to get to know me. I had lost me in the mix. And so I had to take the time out to see who Phyllis really was and what it was about me that I wanted. And once, and not just saying that it was all about weight, because there was other things that took place. But the main thing was, once I, start feeling better about myself, then some of those people that mocked me and talked about me, tried to ridicule me, once they saw me, it was like, looking at me like, wow, even some of them tried to hit on me, but, I was like, yeah, I'm that same fat chick that you call fat, get on, move around, but I had to find who I was. That was the main thing, to find out who I was.
Did you ever think that, I know you talked about your weight, did you ever think that you weren't pretty?
Yes.
And Like, how did that start? Like, did that start and just, because I know it's got to be deep rooted somewhere, if you.
I think growing up, it was like in the family of growing up, and then, I felt like because you had the prettier hair and you were, just this, and then even a time where I remember where I wanted a perm, mom perm your hair, and I couldn't get my hair perm because she said I kept soles in my hair. So that made me feel insecure about myself, like, okay, she's prettier than I am. Or even people would even say, oh, you're pretty, and then they'd look like, oh, hey, like, so it kind of,
Yeah. So it was the acknowledging one person and not acknowledging the other person that made it insecure. I can see that because I know, like, when I go to the store, I'm very mindful of that now. Like if I see, two kids or a couple of kids, I always point out, I don't just say, oh, your daughter's so pretty. I would say, oh, you have beautiful kids.
Yeah.
I make sure I acknowledge all the children. And I can see that how like one person gets acknowledgement and the other one don't, as versus as far as they looks, then it makes the other person that don't get the acknowledgement feels insecure. And so after you hear that, it starts to weigh on you and you start to think to yourself, wait a minute, am I, is this, because I actually, I just, experienced that recently. Like it wasn't about my looks or anything, but it was about someone saying something to me that it was like, you need to do this. And then I was like, okay. And then somebody else said it and they was like, you need to do this. And I was like, okay. So at first it was kind of like when the first person said it, I was kind of like, it rolled off my back. It wasn't a big deal. But then when you get several other people starting to say the same thing, then you start to reevaluate yourself and you're like, wait a minute, am I, is it true? And you start to reevaluate yourself. And so it makes you question who you are. But you just have to be strong and secure in who you are, because if you're not, man, people are cruel.
Yeah, because I actually literally carried that with me, and I was standing in front of a mirror and I was just telling myself, you're ugly, like you're ugly, because it just embedded within me. So I just felt like that's what I was. And sometimes I still have my moments, and then I have to look back and be like, no, that's not, you.
That's amazing, because looking at you, now looking at you today, and I mean, even back then I grew up with you, and looking at you then, I always thought, I saw a beautiful woman, a beautiful young girl that turned into a beautiful woman. So you see these beautiful people and you just think they have it all together.
Yeah.
And you never know that they have those inner struggles where they're looking at themselves like, I don't feel beautiful. I don't look beautiful, and you don't understand that they have those struggles too. So you just think you're looking up on them like, oh, they got it all together. They, they know who they are. And a lot of times just, they have to find themselves too. Yeah. So I'm glad that you were, open and honest and able to share that with us. Stay tuned. We are going to take a short break and we're going to be right back with more Invisible Woman. Can I tell you a secret? Well, it's not really a secret, but I'll tell you anyway. If you go to formerinvisiblewoman.com, no wait, that's not right. I think it's jwinvisiblewoman.com. That's the website, but the email is formerinvisiblewoman@yahoo.com. And what you can do is tell me a little bit about yourself and submit your photo to be Invisible Woman of the Week. Yes, you can be featured on The Invisible Woman right beside me. Is that possible? Is that possible? Mm-hmm. Welcome back with more Invisible Woman. We are talking about the topic, do you love me? And this is talking about loving yourself. And I still have my guest here. I just want to know, now you talked about, how you felt, as far as your appearance, and what advice do you have for women who are still struggling and trying to find themselves and trying to love themselves?
Well, for me, I would just tell you what worked for me. It took me, just connecting to the source, which is God, and just praying about it, just giving it over to Him, because it was a hard battle. And sometimes it still is, but I just have to pray and ask God to help me to get through those moments. Or when those little sneaky demons try to come and make me feel like I'm unworthy of, myself or being loved or just whatever, then I have to remind myself, that I am beautiful, that I am worthy of, being loved and just loving myself.
What about affirmations? You ever heard about affirmations?
Yeah, positive.
Yeah, positive affirmations where you start to repeat things to yourself, and then when you repeat it enough, it starts to sink in and you start to believe it. Just like when you heard those things about that the negativity that came and grew and took root in you, you have that positivity that comes in and it takes root, and you grow from there. So I do, I had this thing I had wrote on my wall, and it was a millionaire manifested. So I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm manifesting it, and I'm still gonna be a millionaire. Don't get me wrong, I am.
Yes.
But it, and so I just thought, okay, so if I'm believing that I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be having all this money, then why can't I believe that I am beautiful? Why can't I believe that I am enough? Why can't I believe that I am worthy? And so, I started to believe in myself because, man, I'm telling you, if you waiting on somebody else to believe in you,
you've always been the one with the confidence and that, when I look at you, you've always been, to me, seem like you've always kept it together, and you've always had the confidence. And sometimes I'll be like, man, if I had confidence like Joyce, because it's like, wow, she don't let nobody or nothing, but that's just like, a book, you just seeing it one way, but you hadn't opened that book to know what's really going on,
Wow, that's insightful, because there were so many times when I would leave a social gathering. And well, first of all, before I even get there, I've changed outfits like 5-6 times because this made me look bad. This don't work on me. This don't work. I don't want to look this way. And I've changed outfits like 5 or 6 times. And then when I finally find an outfit, I put it on. And then, and when you put on, sometimes you put your clothes on, you just feel a certain type of way. You be feeling yourself. So I'll be like, yeah, okay. So then I get that confidence because I look good. Okay. So then I get to the gathering, and then I don't know, something takes place to where I'm just thinking, this ain't it no more. I'm not feeling this anymore. Like I'm not feeling myself anymore. I don't know. And then I get home and I have to take off the mask, pretty much. You take off the mask, and you take off the smile mask, and you take off the happy mask, and you you let the tears flow. And I'm just saying,
but you still got that, because I don't have the happy mask. If they gonna read whatever's going, I can't just portray like I'm not gonna take no mask off. What you see is what you get, I'm not gonna be like, let me wait to get home, take this mask off. In the moment, that's what you're gonna read my mind. You're gonna read my face.
Oh, okay. So, your facial expressions tell how you're feeling.
And I'm working on that.
It's like, I don't have to say the words. My face tells it all. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I guess it was just always, you ever get to a point where like people expect certain things from you?
Yes.
So they expect you to behave. They expect you to do this. They expect things from you. So you start to do that pretty much. You're like a little puppet. You know what I'm saying? You know what they expect from you, so you start doing it. And you learn the song and dance. How you learn the song and dance. So when you're around people, you know what to do, you know what to say, you know how to act, you know how to pretend. But then when you get home, it's like you close your door, you turn off the light, and then you can, like I said, you can be tired. You can be, I don't like me. You could be, why did I wear that today? You could be, and it's just like, man, I was there. And I found myself getting into a depression. But I don't know. It was like, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to be around people. And that's not me. I'm very sociable. So to get to that point where I did not like me, I didn't like me, let alone love me. I mean, but it was when I didn't like me. I'm sure people
you made it miserable for other people.
Exactly. Misery loves company. Everybody come on. I can't have no pity party by myself. I'm a pity party for one. I'm a sociable person, so it's pity party for everybody. You get a pity party. So, but yeah, that's how it was. And so now I'm in a much better place. I'm not saying that I don't have my dark times, but I'm saying that I'm able to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm in a much better place, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
It took me a while. I struggled to get here. And now that I'm here, I am bringing every woman I can here because this is a better place to be on the side of I love me.
Yes.
I love me.
Yes.
I'm worthy. I am. You know, what did you say in the beginning? Like people look at you like, oh, she thinks she all that. Well, guess what? I am all that. Yes. Well, stay tuned. We're going to show you a woman, Visible Woman of the Week, who is also all that. So stay tuned for more Invisible Woman. We'll be right back after this break.
Tonight's Visible Woman of the Week is Rose. Rose has a master's in health science education, a bachelor's in biology, pre-medicine. She is state and nationally certified phlebotomist. She's starting EKG school in November. She's the mother of 3 girls, Kyra, Megan, and Madison. A big shout out to Rose for being the Visible Woman of the Week.
Welcome back to the Invisible Woman. I'm here with my sister, my big sister.
I finally get acknowledgement.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're back to being my guest. She's back to being my guest. You've been degraded again. Well, okay, but this is a very serious topic though, honestly. It's loving yourself is very crucial.
Yes, it is.
To being who you are. You know, loving yourself it's hard. It's not always something that's talked about. You know, people just expect you to do it. Like, how do they expect you to do something that you don't even know how to do? Like something that you haven't been taught how to do. I think that loving yourself is something that you learn from birth. I mean, like, you know, like when you're growing up, like it's instilled in you, like your parents are supposed to tell you, you know, hey, you're beautiful. You know, you're not supposed to have that.
Yes.
You know, it's something that's supposed to be learned. Or if it's, I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm blaming anybody because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, for instance, with my own kids, you know, my own kids, I tell them all the time, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you know, you're smart, you know, it's something that I instill in them so that they can, you know, they hear it enough, they believe it. Because when you hear negative things, oh, you're just like you're gonna be, you know, and they hear those negative things and they're gonna believe those negative things.
Yes.
So if they hear positive things, they'll believe positive things.
Yes.
So that's why I say that I think that it's something that you have to, you know, just kind of instill and get branded into that. Yeah, get branded into this is who you are, you know.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I just think
that's what you're saying about those positive affirmations. So, I mean, it would probably benefit, like, to have your kids every morning to stand in front of a mirror and say something positive about themselves before they leave out the door.
Oh, that's a good idea. I remember seeing this TikTok video. And on the TikTok video, she was telling her daughter, you know, they were saying something like, oh, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're going to have a good day. And, you know, it was some other positive things. And so while she was doing her hair. And I just thought, man, and then and so I think that was one day the mom was like having a bad day and her daughter was like, hey, Mom, we got to do our affirmations.
Yeah.
You know, like that was, to me, that was just like really uplifting because it was already, she started to believe what she was hearing.
Yes.
So she loved herself. She was able to go to school, and I think I watched a little bit too much of this video because she went to school and she was telling somebody said something about her hair, and she said, "Oh no, I love my hair." You know, 'cause she had this little curly hair. You know, so and I just thought, man, she was a little kid. You know, so I just thought she's growing up, learning how to love herself. So when she gets older, and she loves herself now, it's just going to continue to blossom. You know, until I still love myself. I am enough. I am who I'm supposed to be. You know, so I think that, like you said, about the affirmations, about, you know, just being positive.
Yes.
Because there's so much negativity around us enough as it is. We have magazines telling us what we're supposed to look like, telling us how we're supposed to look. We're supposed to be this size, at this weight, and this height. And, you know, you have that enough to where, and you have it on TV where this is considered sexy, this is considered not sexy, you know. And so, you know, this is considered beautiful, this is not considered beautiful. So you have all that already around you with social media, with magazines, with television, with your people outside society telling you what you're supposed to look like, how you're supposed to view yourself, and what you're supposed, you know. So it's enough. So you definitely need somebody, some kind of positive influence in your life to tell you, You look beautiful the way you are.
Okay.
Love you. Love who you are. And like I said, it takes a while to get there. If you're not there, we're going to help you get there. If you are there, like I said, let's help other women get there, because it's too many negative influences as is. So let's be positive and be a positive influence on each other to empower each other to love ourselves.
And shout out to my trainer, Victoria Simmons, who give me positive affirmations and make me feel good about myself. Kudos to you.
Did you really shout out your trainer when I'm over here like, I ain't worked out in, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to be right back after this commercial break. Thank you. Stay tuned to The Invisible Woman. Tonight, we asked ourselves the question about, do you love me? And we talked about, loving how you look on the outside, loving your appearance. But let's talk about loving the inside of you, loving your attitude, loving who you are completely. Because if you don't love you first and foremost, you have no love to give to others. So let's first learn how to love and appreciate the person that we are. Do you love me? The answer is within. Thank you for watching another episode of The Invisible Woman. Thank you to my special guest, Miss Phyllis Lewis. Thank you to the Visible Woman of the Week, Rose. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, The Invisible Woman. To everyone who has liked, shared, and followed my pages. Thank you to everyone. Because of you, you help empower women to help make this show a success. Thank you and good night. I was recording.
So do some on the other side. No, just do another part. That's cute.